Hey, what's up, you guys? This is WD3, and this is your Hill Report news break. Today, we have breaking news out of Caracas, Venezuela. We're going to join the report and hear all about it. Then I'll come back and we'll talk about it.
From the President of the United States. The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow, Maduro. According to the president. There will be a news conference, he says, today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. He then punctuates it, as he often does, with thanks for your attention to this matter. It is signed.
Wow, folks, shocking stuff. As you saw on the reports, President Maduro of Venezuela has been captured and flown out of the country along with his wife. Uh, Very huge news. As you all know, Trump has been focusing on Venezuela here lately, and it seems like this turn of events has happened rather fast. Um, I don't know. I haven't heard any words from the allies of Venezuela. We did see certain allies of Venezuela on high alert, such as Iran. You already know that Russia is in a war posture already. Um, so China definitely has investments in Venezuelan oil. Definitely the second largest oil reserves in the world in Venezuela. Um, so this is a very huge reserve that Maduro was overseeing. The U.S. has seemed to be, they've had problems with Venezuela ever since Venezuela went to a socialist system with former President Hugo Chavez before he passed away. Um, that was something that was unresolved, and words were exchanged back and forth between Bush and Chavez, and it just was an ongoing thing. Never any type of resolution like this. Trump focused on Maduro. It seems, if you're looking at the geopolitical chessboard, it seems like um, Trump saw a free pass to go into Venezuela because President Vladimir Putin in Russia saw a free pass to go into the Ukraine. But a lot of people are saying that that Ukraine situation started in 2014 when the United States, as a part of its foreign policy, organized a coup in the Ukraine. And that revolution led to the exile of their, at that time, elected president. And that is still an ongoing situation that America has had a big hand in. So now, since that problem can't be resolved in Russia using Europe and America's help, um, it seems like a free pass to Venezuela was taken, and I don't know what the response of Venezuela's allies would be if indeed these reports are true. I saw it on NBC News and I saw a report on Daily News, and I just show you all the clips. So if that's true, that presents a huge geopolitical response. um, you'd look to hear responses from the United Nations, look to hear responses from the Security Council. Um, this is pretty big. We wrote about this, Maduro and Trump in the Hill Report. I think it was last issue. Just something that we saw Trump stemming on um, Venezuela, and it didn't seem like that was anything he was going to delay on. He was started out his very first act with bombing the boats and saying they were drug boats, and very illegal when you talk about international law, just to go bombing and killing folks on boats in their own waters. Definitely an act of war. It seems like Maduro was trying to hold it together as much as he could. I saw several speeches of his where he was like, when I say peace, you say peace, peace, peace. Like he was really, really not wanting to face that music because, frankly, I don't think he was absolutely 100% sure that his allies, um, Iran, just basically in a ceasefire with Israel as we speak. Uh, China, they're taking their turn. So the next move we all can expect is we can expect China, who's already encircled Taiwan and started wargaming. You can expect this move right here to trigger China taking Taiwan. It just seems like this is the opening. Who would have ever thought that America would attack the capital of Venezuela right out? But geopolitically, this is the perfect time for things probably to escalate in the Ukraine and for things to get started in Taiwan and China start the reunification process of the Taiwanese. I don't know exactly how much resources Trump and the United States Army would put into the defense of Taiwan, right? Um, I don't know if we're willing to put any more resources in the defense of Ukraine. Um, what would we do if Iran and several of its allies this time decided to attack Israel? Would America use the resources for the defense of Israel? Um, this move in Venezuela definitely changes a lot of things on the grand chessboard. South America has always been something that has been under the Monroe Doctrine, and I guess it's been convenient at times to for several of those countries to go socialist and for America to make deals with certain countries and take certain countries out, and there's a lot of resources down there. There's oil, there's very, very fertile ground for growing agriculture, coffee. America's addicted to coffee. It's basically another form of oil, coffee. Millions and millions of Americans drink coffee every single morning, and some have more than one cup. So the supply of that is a geopolitical factor. So Colombia is known to have the best coffee beans. So America is really going after Colombia too. I heard Trump really throwing a lot of shots at the Colombian president, um, right along with the Venezuelan president, which, according to all reports, he's just been captured. I don't know who captured him. I don't know if one of his allies came and took him away for his safety, or if he's indeed captured like Noriega by the Americans in a special forces operation. Now, that would land him in jail. Noriega was placed in a Florida prison. Um, I don't see any reports of Maduro in a prison coming before a judge, so maybe he got out of there. Um, Escorted by one of his allies or something. I'll have to we'll have to get updated on where Maduro. I'm sure that's gonna be the hot topic for the next few days. Um, I don't need to break any news on that. Uh, where's Maduro is gonna be on the news for the next 2 or 3 days. Um, so we'll figure that part out. But right now, that's very huge news that he is no longer at least in his capital, as the president of Venezuela. According to these reports, America's put a big attack on Maduro and his mansion in the capital, and Maduro was captured along with his wife. Huge, huge, huge news. Um, America has a lot of Venezuelan citizens who are very important. If you play any type of baseball or soccer, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Venezuelan athletes who are on visa to the United States. But every if you know Venezuelan politics, everybody that was in Venezuela was not for the socialist government. There was a faction that was for Americanizing and democratizing the system. Um, so a lot of those people who are in America from a lot of these different South American countries are from the opposition of the ruling governments in those countries, and Venezuela is no different. But um, I don't know how this plays out as far as visas and as far as folks being able to travel to Venezuela or from Venezuela. Um, just very shocking to know that Maduro. I never liked Maduro. I like Chavez. Maduro seemed to be a real shady character. Um, Aside from his politics, just looking at him and looking at him speak, and Chavez was really, really a sincere guy. Like you believed his movement. Chavez reminded you of somebody like Muammar Gaddafi or somebody who you can see the passion when they speak. Um, Maduro was kind of phony, if you ask me. And it seems like Trump took him out. Right now, Trump is on a rampage. If you're one of his enemies, this is a bad time for you. Until things get resolved with his own cases and his terms and his age and his health. Until all that is resolved, stay out of Trump's way right now. I'm serious. I've seen enough to know when somebody's serious and they're not playing games. Um, as we speak, a lot of the things that he talked about with the illegal immigration, um, it was scenes out of the apocalypse when ice rose through. Just like he said, uh, folks who supported Trump from the Caribbean countries, from South America, everywhere, uh, he didn't care. I will vote for Donald Trump. He didn't care about none of that. Everybody had to go if you didn't have your paperwork straight, standing on business. And right here in Venezuela, unbelievable, unbelievable. If anyone internationally thought Trump was bluffing in this day and time, you probably ought to rethink that calculation because he's taking names and he's taking care of business. Um, on another note, geopolitically, you have to think about the response. Is not just Trump getting rid of Maduro in a vacuum. You have to think about what is the response going to be to this action. Who out there had love for Maduro, who was the guardian of the second largest oil reserve in the world? I would say that China is not going to just let this heist uh, take place. China is highly invested in Venezuelan oil, and China has the largest, thirstiest population in the world that needs resources. If China had their own oil, they'd probably be ruling the world right now. But the fact that they don't have their own oil and they have to get it from Nigeria and Angola and get it from Venezuela, get it from Russia, get it from Iran, they have to piecemeal their oil energy plan together. And when America and other enemies of theirs start meddling in that energy plan, it starts to seep into their foreign policy also. So maybe China may just go ahead and take Taiwan. Maybe they'll help defend Venezuela with, I'm sure, with some allied countries if they go that route. But I don't see any appetite from the American population to send troops into Venezuela. Um, so I don't know exactly, besides good old fashioned Somalian piracy, how we're going to really get that oil properly. Trump is claiming that America owned the Venezuelan oil before the socialists came in. I have to do some more research on that claim. It's pretty hard to believe that any country owns any other country's oil. Um, Maybe they had some favorable deals, but it seems like they're sitting on it. Um, but right now, Maduro's gone. I don't know if that's the worst thing for Venezuela. If they do have some strong leadership out there, you saw Hugo Chavez die and Maduro stepped in, and he held it together for seems like about 20 years. But he was weak. So maybe a stronger person is going to rise out of this from the Venezuela political structure. Um, Maybe you'll just get some stooge, some American puppet that'll just step up and create some stability, and everybody will be like on their knees, mercy, mercy me. It all depends on whether the allies of the current Venezuelan government is willing to step up and ensure some type of retribution, some type of stability in that country. I don't know the appetite for Russia to do that, being that they're entangled in Ukraine. Russia already has troops down in Syria to try to keep some semblance of stability in the Middle East. So I don't know, even if they have the resources to reach out and bail Venezuela out, because that's going to drag in Europe. And then now you have an even bigger conglomerate. But the BRICS nations, period, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran is a part of that also. I don't I guarantee you Venezuela was all up in it, but it's very interesting that they're not a part of the actual acronym, being that they have such a large resource. Um, but they weren't. So um, I don't know. Maduro gone, captured, him and his wife gone. So I don't know what happens when presidents get scurried out of their palace. We saw what happened when Saddam was captured. He was eventually hanged. Um, saw what happened when Gaddafi was captured. He was in a sewer, getting his own gun used against him. Um, I don't know. Assad, I guess Assad is from Syria, the Syrian president Bashir al-Assad. I guess he is a current recent example of being exiled from his country. He ran to Russia. Um, that was kind of the only place that he could actually breathe God's good old air safely at. But yeah, Maduro, where's this guy gonna go? Uh, who's gonna take him in? Is he in jail? If the Americans get their hands on him, I don't know what he's done to America besides giving us some of the greatest Major League Baseball players on loan ever to play. But other than that, that's the punishment for having resources and having something that your country can actually benefit from, and not bowing down and totally juggling the pelotas of America. If you're not like all in on American foreign policy at the detriment of your own country, then you're probably going to be captured and flown out of the country like Maduro. Not a very good career choice to go against Donald Trump these days. But he still got the Epstein files kind of lingering over his head. I think everybody's over it. I don't think anybody, after the shock of knowing that the devil's running around in the government and in rich playgrounds. I think we kind of knew that already, but to see you guys telling on each other and writing it all down and keeping files, it's like funny. Uh, Being that you ain't gonna do anything about it. Um, but you got Maduro sitting there. Uh, I don't know if he was minding his own business, but I didn't see Venezuela loaning their troops across the world to help people resolve this conflict and that conflict. It seemed like Venezuela was pretty much minding their own daggone business. Um, you know, Maybe minding your business nowadays in the geopolitical sphere is political suicide. It seems like that's what happened to Maduro anyway. We'll get an update on this and we're out.